Hello, and welcome back to yet another video. This is the fourth episode in a Naruto Uzumaki story in which a few little changes might have a significant impact. Knowledge provided early in Naruto's career converted him from a hopeless loser to a powerful and skilled shinobi. Historical differences that have long ago passed have resulted in a totally different consequence than we imagined. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. To begin, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get the party started. It was the next morning and Naruto was up bright and early going over his equipment. He knew he was probably overstressing things, but he felt that being overprepared for something like this was better than being underprepared. After all, it was his first mission out of the village and it was important to make a good impression on their client. Even if said client was an old drunk like Tazna. Onko's paranoia is getting to me, Naruto thought with a frown as he looked at all his equipment. He shrugged the thought off. Paranoia could only be a good thing for a ninja. Let's see, kunai scroll, check. Shuriken scroll, check. Ninja wire, check. Smoke pellets, check. Flash bangs, check. Food and camping equipment, check. Customized explosive notes. Naruto grinned as he patted the scroll holding his modified explosive notes. Double check. Finding all of his containment scrolls ready to go, Naruto grinned to himself and sealed all of the scrolls into a larger master scroll, which was then sealed into a containment scroll on the left-hand side of his chest. Finished with his preparations, Naruto had only one more thing to do. Naruto formed a ram seal and created a mental image in his mind. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he said, getting a puff of smoke. When it cleared, it revealed two Naruto clones that were already transformed into Kaien and Akira. Naruto channeled chakra into a containment seal on his left hand and unsealed an ink brush and some ink. "Alright, turn around you two," Naruto ordered. Knowing what Naruto was doing, his clones turned around. The blonde went up to Akira and pulled her shirt down to expose the back of her neck. Sticking his tongue out in concentration, he began to write the only truly complex seal that was of his own make. It was a seal that he had modified from a basic containment seal. This seal was designed to hold chakra instead of an item of some kind, and continuously release it into the person or object to help reinforce them or it. In this case, it would continuously send chakra into his clone and allow it to last longer than a day, that way it could go work while he went on this mission. It had been something he had been working on since he first got the idea of using hinged Kage Bunshin to earn extra money. Knowing that his missions would take him out of the village, Naruto had realized that if he wanted his clones to keep their jobs, he would need to find some way to make them last longer when he was out of the village. When Naruto finished, he checked, double-checked and then triple-checked the seal to make sure none of the ink was messed up. Satisfied, he channeled enough chakra to create 30 Kage Bunshins. It would be enough to last for a month, give or take a day. He repeated the process with Kaien. Before nodding to himself. "Alright, done. I want you guys to keep a low profile while I'm gone. Don't do anything stupid." "Don't worry," Akira said in her soft alto tenor, giving her creator a beautiful smile. "You can count on us." "Right," Naruto said with a nod. He had created these clones with a specific personality in mind that was nothing like his. Having read a few stories, Naruto created Akira from a few of the girls he had read about in some of his manga. She was made to be sweet, kind and dependable, always willing to help out others. Kaien was created based off of what Naruto thought Sasuke's personality would be like if he ever got that emo stick out of his ass. The process of creating clones that were in truth nothing like him had actually been rather complicated, at least the mental process had. In order to create the clones like that, Naruto had been required to immerse himself in the mindset of the personality he wanted to impose on his clones, and then create the clones. It had required a long and drawn-out process of changing his mindset. He had only been able to really make them perfect around 2 weeks ago. It did not help that he had also been forced to use a sealless henge on them in order for them not to freak out. He had learned early on that if they were not transformed into who they were, the clones would start to hyperventilate before dispelling, though this problem mainly came from Akira. Not that he could blame her. If Naruto were to wake up and suddenly find himself as a girl rather than a guy, he would freak out too. "Well then, I'll see you guys later," Naruto said as he left his apartment and made his way towards the gate where he was supposed to meet his sensei. Like Naruto, Sakura was busy packing the things she felt would be important for her mission. Clothing, extra shampoo and conditioner, a loofah, her makeup, that cute little dress that she had been hoping to wear for Sasuke-kun. You know, the important things. When she finished packing, Sakura hefted her backpack over her shoulder. She walked downstairs and headed towards the door. "I'm going out on a mission, Mom," she said, not waiting for a reply as she left, heading down the street in high spirits. Maybe now that we're going out of the village, Sasuke-kun and I can have some time alone together. Sakura thought with a giggle. Uchiha Sasuke was packing his own belongings in his room in the clan head's home of the Uchiha compound. Despite the Uchiha compound being completely barren and lifeless, he continued to live it in. Of course, he had been offered a place outside of the compound. However, he wanted this place to be a reminder of what he was, an Avenger. I'm finally getting a mission that can help prove myself as an Uchiha, he thought. I'll prove my strength and use this as a stepping stone to get stronger so I can get my revenge against Itachi. After he finished packing his stuff, Sasuke lifted his pack and left his room and then the house and clan compound altogether, heading for the east gate. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura all found themselves waiting around the front gate with their client Tazuna. Like always, they had been waiting for nearly 3 hours. Where the hell is your Jonin-sensei? Tazuna spoke in a disgruntled voice as he paced back and forth. I thought ninja were supposed to be ready in a timely fashion. Naruto sighed as he flipped another page of Nua's book, Intermediate Level Ceiling Theory and Composition, by Namikaze Minato. I should have realized that Kakashi-sensei would be late. I wonder why I thought he would be on time just because it was our first C-rank mission as a team. He'll be here, Tazuna-san. However, Kakashi-sensei is always at least 3 hours late to anything. In fact, if he could, I'm sure he'd be late to his own funeral. Tazuna looked over at Naruto with incredulous expression. You can't be serious, can you? I'm afraid he is, Sakura said miserably, for once agreeing with Naruto. Just once I wish he was on time. She thought. Cha. Maybe we need to beat the crap out of him to teach timely manners. Inner Sakura ranted. HN, Sasuke said, grunted. Naruto flipped another page of his book. Anyways, he should be here in 3, 2, 1. Now. Yo! Kakashi said with a wave as he appeared in a puff of smoke. You're late. Sakura screeched, forcing everyone within a 50-foot radius were forced to grab their ears in pain. So what's the excuse this time, Kakashi? Asked Naruto as he stood up. Did a black cat cross your path, forcing you to take the long way around? Close, Kakashi. I smiled. There was actually a herd of black cats on my doorstep, so I had to wait for them to leave, then walk around my house 3 times before taking the long way around. You know, to stave off the bad luck. Liar, Sakura yelled, once again knocking everyone off their equilibrium as their ears rung in pain. Anyway, let's get going, Kakashi said, picking out his ear as he began to leave. The others soon followed him, however Kakashi stopped when they got several feet from the gate when he noticed they were missing one. Naruto? Kakashi asked as Naruto had turned around and was looking at the gate. Something wrong? Naruto shook his head. No. Nothing's wrong. It just feels strange. This is the first time I've ever set foot out of the village. He looked like he was about to continue, but shook his head and turned to face the others. Well, let's get going. Kakashi looked at Naruto curiously as the blonde passed before shrugging and heading out. The team began moving through the countryside of Hinokuni. Naruto in front, Sakura and Sasuke on the left and right respectively, and Kakashi taking up the rear. For a while Naruto looked around at the environment, taking in all the sights he could. However, as time wore on, his excitement about being out of the village began to fade. True, he was out of the village, but everything looked the same. All he saw were trees, trees and more trees. Eventually the green simply lost its splendor. Of course, we're still in Hinokuni. Naruto clicked his tongue in annoyance. I should have suspected this. Deciding to amuse himself, Naruto looked behind him towards his teammates. Sasuke was brooding like he usually did, something that Naruto realized would probably never change. Kakashi was reading his porn like normal, the only noise coming from him being the occasional perverted giggle. And Sakura was chattering away, trying to talk to Sasuke and convince the raven-haired Avenger to go out with her. Yet even that stopped when she seemed to realize that Sasuke wasn't even paying attention to her. Naruto sighed. Gah. This is so boring. I thought being out of the village would be cool and exciting. He knew he shouldn't be thinking that way. Shinobi were supposed to always remain calm, cool and collected, something Naruto had been striving to do ever since the Mizuki incident. But even he had his limits. And right now, as we're reaching the breaking point, trying to find some way to pass the time, Naruto reached into his pouch and was about to take out his book again, when he stopped. Having spent as much time as he had with Anko in the Forest of Death, Naruto had developed what he had taken to calling his danger sense to a finely honed point. Even the most minuscule trace amounts of killing intent could be detected by him. And right now there was a bit leaking from somewhere. Looking around, Naruto tried to find the source of the killing intent. It wasn't quite large enough to pinpoint, being fairly minuscule, so he was forced to really rely on his eyes. As he continued walking, he spotted a puddle in the middle of the road. Odd, it hasn't rained for several days. Naruto thought with a frown. He looked back to see Kakashi eyeing the puddle before moving on. Naruto shrugged and turned back towards looking in front of him, wondering if he was just being paranoid. Kakashi-sensei. Naruto whirled around when he heard the shriek, and saw Kakashi with a pair of shuriken-linked chains, which were being held by two figures. The two ninja, who were obviously ninja by the headbands on their heads, yanked the cables, resulting in Kakashi getting torn to shreds, sending body parts and blood flying everywhere. For a split second Naruto hesitated as he entered his first real battle. This gave the two shinobi, both of whom were wearing water-breathing apparatus, tattered black cloaks and a pair of wicked-looking claws with shuriken chains attached to them, to charge forward. He watched as Sasuke threw a shuriken and kunai into the chains, making them stick to a tree, then running up towards the pair before he jumped up and kicked both of the two ninja attached to them in the face. The pair released their chains and charged. Thankfully Naruto had been expecting some kind of attack, so even though he was surprised, he managed to snap out of the fugue state he had been in from seeing his sensei die. One of the Chunin charged at Naruto, attempting to take him out with his gauntlet-covered hands. Naruto ducked under the claw swipe and struck the gauntlet's wrist, redirecting the attack. This seemed to surprise the man, allowing Naruto to get in close. Before the Chunin had a chance to react, Naruto was in his face, grabbing his head with both hands before bringing the man's face down and smashing it into his knee. The man was sent stumbling back in a daze, his face mask dented from Naruto's blow. It was because of the man becoming slightly disoriented that Naruto was able to close the distance again, smashing several hard punches into the man's rib cage. When Naruto sent a chakra-enhanced double punch to the chest, the man flew backwards, smashing into the tree that was behind him and falling to the ground. Naruto stared down at the unconscious man in a slight stupor. However, he was snapped out of it when he heard a voice somewhat behind him. "Yo!" Turning around, Naruto saw Kakashi standing there with the other ninja that had attacked them placed in a headlock. "Kakashi-sensei. You're alive," Sakura said in relief as she lowered her kunai. "Of course," Kakashi said, pointing over to where he had died. Naruto and the other Jonin saw the remains of a log. He used a kawarimi. Naruto realized with some shock. Then that means the blood and guts we saw was some kind of genjutsu to make it look like he had been violently killed. But what for? "Excellent job in defeating the enemy, Naruto, Sasuke," Kakashi said, turning his head towards Naruto. "Are you okay? I saw you freeze up there for a moment." "Huh?" Naruto blinked a moment before the question registered. "Oh. Yeah, I'm fine. I was just surprised that you had died against these two." He gestured to the two unconscious Chunin. Kakashi nodded. "I'm glad to hear that. Also, you might want to take care of that wound." Kakashi pointed to a cut on Naruto's forearm. Kiri ninja have been known to poison their weapons. "Huh? I must have gotten it when I swatted that guy's attack away." Naruto thought, cursing himself for being so careless. Sighing, he pulled out a kunai and without any hesitance stabbed himself right in the wound to let the poison bleed out. "Naruto, what are you doing?" Sakura screamed as she and everyone else widened their eyes at seeing Naruto deliberately injure himself. Naruto just looked up at them and tilted his head. "What? I'm just bleeding the poison out." "Yeah, but now you might die of blood loss," Kakashi deadpanned. "Ha ha ha ha," Naruto laughed as he tore the now ripped bandages off his arm and pulled out some extra bandages that he kept in his pouch. "Oh, you don't need to worry about measly little wounds like this, sensei. I've had wounds worse than this." Naruto shuddered as he finished wrapping his bandages around his forearm. "Far far worse," he mumbled, remembering all the times Anko had tried to up his resistance poisoning by having her snakes bite him, as well as the innumerable injuries she had inflicted on him to help his pain tolerance, as she called it. With his hand fixed, Naruto walked over to the two unconscious Chunin, pulling out some ninja wire as he did so. "I'll take care of these two," Naruto said as he grabbed both Chunin by their wrists and dragged them over to a tree, where he proceeded to tie them up. "Urge." One of the Chunin groaned as he woke up as Naruto finished tightening the ninja wire around him. He blinked and looked around before realizing he was tied up. "Well, welcome back to the land of the living," Naruto said with a joyous grin. "Did you have a nice nap?" The Chunin glared at the blonde. "How did you know of our ambush? Are you talking to me?" the blonde asked. "'Cause if you are, I can honestly tell you that I knew next to nothing about your ambush." Naruto shrugged. "All I could feel was your killing intent, but I couldn't sense where it was coming from." "Kakashi-sensei seemed to be onto you though." Naruto paused for a moment as he looked over at Tazuna, who was looking more nervous than usual. "Though them being here is starting to make sense, That must be why Tazuna has been so nervous, thought Naruto, having watched the man pacing nervously out of the corner of his eye while the group had been waiting for his sensei. It wasn't that hard, if you know what to look for, Kakashi said with a shrug. Since it hasn't rained in nearly a week, there was no way that a puddle could have lasted very long on a clear day, much less 7. Wait a minute, Tazuna said, looking a bit disgruntled as he glared at Kakashi. If you knew these ninja were going to attack us, then why did you leave it to the kids? He asked, feeling a bit irked. I could have taken them out before any trouble started. But then I wouldn't have learned anything, Kakashi said as he turned a mild glare onto the man. I wanted to know who their target was, and what they were after. What do you mean? Tazuna asked with a stutter. I mean I wanted to know if they after us, ninja attacking ninja? Or if they were after you, the master bridge builder, Kakashi said as his eyes narrowed. When you made your request to Konoha, you asked for standard protection, from bandits and highwaymen and the like. You never mentioned that ninja were after you. If we had known this, it would have been designated a B-rank mission or higher. Tazuna looked down in guilt under Kakashi's withering gaze. Our mission was to simply get you to your destination and guard you while you built your bridge. If we had known we would have been fending off attacks from ninja, we would have staffed a different squad and charged for the cost of a B-rank mission. Even if you had your reasons for doing it, lying about a mission is unacceptable. As it is, this task falls beyond the boundaries of the mission we were given. We should go back, Sakura said, the idea of fighting enemy ninja frightening her. This is too much for us, we're not ready for missions like this. Naruto looked over at Sakura with a frown. You can go if you want, but I'm staying. Everyone looked over at Naruto in surprise. It doesn't matter if he lied about the mission, the fact is we've already accepted it. As Konoha ninja we can't go back on our word. Not only would that be disgracing ourselves and Konoha, but it could also cause people to lose faith in our village if we run at the first sign of trouble. Naruto looked over at Tazuna. You don't have to worry about me leaving, even if they do. HN. You think you could protect him yourself? Sasuke snorted. Please, you would be lost without someone like me watching your back. I won't let this opportunity slip by, I will prove my strength here. So that mean you're in team? Asked a grinning Naruto. Sasuke just looked at the blonde with a smirk. HN. Kakashi looked between the two genin and sighed. Why was it that they only seemed to get along when it looked like a fight was brewing? I guess that means we're continuing. Still the next enemy we run into won't be low-level chunin. It will be a jonin like myself. In the middle of a large forested area, there was a large fortified structure being held between two trees. Inside that structure two individuals were having an important meeting. In a room, a tall man with bandages covering half his face lounged in a large throne-like chair. To his left was one of his subordinates, awaiting his instruction. In front of him was a rather short fat man in a business suit, with frazzled gray hair and sunglasses on his face, despite how dark it was inside. What? The short-suited man shouted. You're telling me you failed? I paid a lot of money to hire your group. I thought you were supposed to be some hotshot former ninja assassins. If this is all you're capable of, quit your whining. The tall man growled as he hefted a large Zanbato-style sword up with one hand, even though it was nearly as tall as he was. Bringing it around he pointed it at the now pale businessman. Next time I'll be going to finish them myself. And this sword, Kubikiri Haucho, head cleaver, will be the last thing they see. Hey, are you sure about that? Asked the now nervous man. It seems that the target has a high-level ninja guarding him, and now that the Akuma brothers have failed, they'll be on guard for another attack. It will take some extreme skill too. Just who do you think you're dealing with? The man growled, not lowering his sword as he glared at the small fat man. I am Momoiki Zabuza, the Kirigakure no Kijin, demon of the hidden mist. It was later in the day, and Team 7 along with Tazuna had found a small clearing off the road to Nami no Kuni to rest for the night. Kakashi had made his students split up and prepare the camp. Sasuke had been charged with getting lumber and starting a fire, while Sakura had been ordered to prepare the tents. Naruto was the one who had gotten them some food, catching a few fish from a nearby stream. After dinner Kakashi looked at his students. Since this mission is now more dangerous than we initially thought, we are going to be taking 2-hour watch shifts. Naruto, you're going first, Sasuke you go second, Sakura will go third and I will go last. This was a standard watch procedure, letting the students go first so they could have more sleep when they started off again. Sure thing sensei. Naruto stood up and went to perch himself on a large rock a little ways away so he could keep watch. The rest of you make sure to get some sleep while you can. Kakashi began moving to his tent. Soon everyone else had started heading off too. Naruto put some his hands up in the ram seal as he sat down cross-legged, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A few clones puffed into existence only to scatter as soon as they were formed, moving off several dozen feet away in all directions and hanging into random objects and animals. Closing his eyes, Naruto began using a unique exercise he had learned in a book on chakra concepts and theories. The exercise was called Chakra Myaku, chakra pulse, and as the name suggested, the user sent out a pulse of chakra in all directions. This gave Naruto something akin to a 360-degree view similar to the sonar pings a bat used with sound waves. This had two purposes. The first was to allow Naruto to remain alert to everything around him, and the second was to use it as a basic chakra control exercise by slowly lowering the amount of chakra used while maintaining the amount of distance he could pulse his chakra. It wasn't quite as effective in the middle of a forest as it would be elsewhere since the foliage reduced its efficiency, however that was what the clones were for. "Can I help you, Oji-san?" asked Naruto as Tazuna climbed onto the boulder he was sitting on. His eyes were still closed and he had not bothered to even look in Tazuna's direction as he remained perfectly still, something that had taken nearly 2 weeks to accomplish. "Shouldn't you be in bed by now? An old goat like you needs their rest." "Hardy har har gaki." Tazuna grumbled a bit about disrespectful brats for a few moments, causing Naruto's lips to quirk upwards in a small smirk. He was silent for a moment before letting his curiosity get the better of him. "I was just wondering. Why did you agree to come with me knowing I had lied?" "Isn't that something you should be asking Kakashi-sensei?" asked Naruto. "Your sensei wasn't the one who first agreed to continue the mission," Tazuna pointed out. Naruto conceded the point with a nod. He was silent for a few moments and Tazuna was unsure if the blonde would talk or not. Finally, "Forsaking and abandoning people in need is both dishonorable and cowardly. Below courage there is nothing." Those are the words from the Yondaime Hokage. Finally the blonde opened his eyes and looked over at Tazuna. "They are words that I do my best to live by." 3 days later, when Team 7 got to the coast, it was to find a thick fog had rolled in. Tazuna had led them to a man who had been willing to offer them passage across, and now the 6 of them were inside a motorboat to cross the waters and head into Nami no Kuni. Currently the motorboat was off, however, and the boatman was rowing, so as not to attract attention from anyone that may want to cause their group harm. Naruto, who was at the front of the boat, was staring into the thick fog. "There's something odd about this fog," he thought to himself. "Even for morning fog it seems to be really thick." Of course, since this was his first time being in a coastal region, he supposed he might just be overthinking again. "This fog is pretty thick," Naruto commented out loud, wondering what the others thought of it. "Yeah, it's actually hard to even figure out where we're going," Sakura said, actually agreeing with Naruto. "I mean, the only thing I can even see is the water." She looked off the side of the boat and into the rippling water. "We'll be able to see the bridge any minute now," the boatman said in a quiet voice. "As soon as you set foot on the other shore, you'll be in Nami no Kuni." As if on his words, the fog parted where they were going to reveal the bridge. The group looked up as the shadow of it loomed over them. Even at the angle they were seeing it at, the large unfinished bridge was a sight for the group of Jinan. Naruto whistled. "Alright, I have to admit I'm impressed, Tazuna-san." "Thank you," Tazuna said with pride in his voice. "I mean, I didn't think a drunk old man like you was capable of building something like this," Naruto continued. Tazuna's shoulders slumped a bit. "That wasn't very nice." Naruto snickered. "You guys need to keep it down," the man hissed. "The whole point of moving through the dense morning fog is so that we wouldn't be spotted. But it doesn't do any good if they hear us. Why do you think we're going like this? Turning off the motorboat and rowing?" Naruto looked over at the boatman with a frown. "And who would they be?" he asked. "Naruto brings up a good question," Kakashi said as he turned to Tazuna. "I think we've been more than patient enough, Tazuna-san. Before we reach the pier, I need you to provide some answers. The men who are after you, I need to know why." His voice took on a deeper tone, signifying how serious he was. "And if you don't tell us, I'll have to end the mission when we drop you ashore." That was the technical limit of this assignment. Protecting you until you reach Nami no Kuni. Guarding you until you finish the bridge was left to my discretion. Tazuna unslumped himself and looked up at Kakashi. "Alright, I'll tell you. No, I want to tell you. You are correct, this is beyond the scope of your original mission. The man who is after my life is very short man, who casts a very long and dangerous shadow." "A very short man?" questioned Naruto with a look of curiosity etched on his face. "So we're facing off against someone who would be better off in a circus or something?" Kakashi ignored Naruto's jibe as he looked at Tazuna. "A man with a dangerous shadow? Who is it? You know of him?" "At least I'm sure you've heard of him," Tazuna sighed. "His name is Gato." Gato? Gato of Gato Transports and Shipping? Kakashi asked, a slight widening of his eye the only sign of shock. The Gato? Rumors place that man is one of the richest men in the world. Yes. The very same, Tazuna spoke with a slight nod. On the surface, he appears to be nothing more than a legitimate businessman. However, underneath that, the man is one of the rulers of the criminal underworld. He is known for using gangs and hiring ninja to ruin countries and initiate hostile takeovers of other business. He uses his business as a cover for his black market operations, smuggling drugs, contraband. Even slaves. This guy is starting to sound like a grade A douchebag, Naruto commented with a slight growl at hearing the man smuggled slaves. He came to Nami no Kuni a little over a year ago, Tanza ignored Naruto's commented as he gave Kakashi more information. He had used his wealth and violence to enter our country, and before we even knew what was happening, he had managed to seize control of all our shipping and transport. That makes sense, Naruto mumbled, getting the attention of everyone else. He blushed a bit but continued nonetheless. Nami is really nothing more than a string of islands. They have no other way to trade and receive supplies other than their shipping routes. By taking control over that, Gato effectively controls everything. The night before Team 7 had set out on their mission, he had gone over to the library and gotten a geography book and had looked up any information he could on Nami no Kuni. Anko had told him one of the times after their spars that it was important to gather any information he could before a mission began, because there was always a chance that the mission could go to shit, and anything he learned about the mission, whether it was about the client, the climate, both geographical and political, the terrain, or any number of seemingly useless information, could prove to be the key that got him and his team out alive. It was at times like these that he was thankful Anko had quite literally beat information into his head. Since when did Naruto get so smart? A shocked Sakura wondered. I've never heard him talk like this. Cha. He's merely trying to make Sasuke-kun look bad. Inner Sakura shouted. Don't fall for his tricks. He merely wants you to think he's better than Sasuke-kun. Shanaro. Yeah. You're right. Well, it's not gonna work. Stupid baka. Sakura nodded her head in agreement with her inner conscience. Listen to the Dobi, trying to sound intelligent. Sasuke snorted, not wanting to admit, even to himself, that he was jealous of how quickly the Naruto caught that fact. Why does he even bother? All it does is make him look like a fool. He really has come a long way, Kakashi thought to himself. He seems to have put in a lot of effort to change himself from how he used to be. The incident with Mizuki can actually be considered a blessing in disguise with how much Naruto has grown. I think you'd be proud of him. Sensei. The Gaki is right, Tazuna said with an imperceptible nod. On an island nation, the man who controls the sea controls everything from finance to government, to our very lives. Anyone who even attempts to stand up to him disappears. However, even Gato has fears. And the one thing he fears is the bridge. Which of course is why Gato is after you, Naruto said with a nod. Once the bridge is complete, it will connect Nami to the mainland, and you won't need ships to get supplies. Since you're the master bridge builder, you're in Gato's way and he wants to off you. That means that this Gato is the one who hired those ninja, Sasuke said, already planning on what he would do when more ninja showed up. This is my chance to prove my superiority as an Uchiha. That still doesn't answer my question, Kakashi said as he looked at Tazuna pointedly. If you knew this was going to happen, knew that Gato was dangerous, why did you lie about the mission? That's kind of obvious, isn't it? Naruto asked rhetorically as he thought over some of the things he had read on economics and political maneuvers that could be applied to this situation. If Gato has been here for over a year, that means he's had a year to place a chokehold on all imports that come into Nami. And if he's even half as corrupt as Tazuna is saying he is, then chances are high that he's placed ridiculously high taxes on everything. I doubt this country even has enough for a B-rank mission. Am I right, Tazuna? Asked Naruto, turning to look over at Tazuna. No, you're right, Tazuna said. Our country has never been a major metropolis, and since Gato has come, our country has been reduced to nearly nothing. We are poor to the point of emptiness, even our nobles have very little money, and what they and the rest of us have hangs in the balance of building the bridge, Tazuna sighed. As it is, we poor people are the ones who are paying for this mission. We simply don't have money to afford a B or higher ranked mission. They were too expensive. Tazuna looked up at the group of Konoha ninja. If you drop me off and abandon me when we get ashore, there will be no bridge. Gato will no doubt kill me before I can even get home. A thick silence hung over the ninja as they digested everything. I don't think you need to worry about that, Tazuna Oji-san, Naruto said, getting everyone's attention. I think it was pretty stupid thing to lie about the mission. You knew you would be up against a man who was not adverse to hiring ninja, and that he could afford to hire ninja that were far more skilled than a group of Genin. Had you gone to Hokage Gigi and been honest, he would have been able to arrange some kind of agreement to give you a team of Chunin or even Jonin and set up some kind of payment plan. Tazuna looked down at hearing that. Naruto sighed and ran a hand through his hair. That being said, I can at least understand why you didn't say anything. You had no way of knowing whether or not we would have helped you if you had been honest, and since we've already agreed to take this mission, and since Imo the Wonder King over here, Naruto hiked a thumb up to point at the scowling Sasuke, was so adamant about us getting a mission, we can't afford to go back without a large black spot on our record. Once again everyone was silent as Naruto spoke, sounding so different than what Sasuke and Sakura remembered him being at the academy. Well, I suppose we can continue the mission, Kakashi said at last. However, if at any point I feel we're out of our league and I order us to abandon the mission, you three will follow my orders to the letter. Are we clear? He asked in a commanding voice. The three Jonin nodded at their sensei's words. Thank you, Tazuna mumbled as he looked at the group. The boat continued to move silently as they made their way closer to Nami. We're almost there, the boatman said. Just under this archway and past the mangroves and we'll reach the pier. Everyone snapped to attention as they made their way under a large archway, passing through it and coming out on the other side to a small inlet lake. There were several buildings around the bank, and a few sparse trees located around and in the water. As they got closer to the shore, the group found that the buildings were mostly run down, with rot and fungus spreading along them. Some of the buildings even looked burned out, no doubt from Gato's thugs using violence to bring the population under Gato's heel. The boat made it to the dock and the Konoha ninja plus one master bridge builder got off. After Tazuna and the boatman exchanged farewells, the group set off again. For the most part it was silent, only the breathing of the group being heard. Naruto was taking point again, while Sakura and Sasuke were located on either side of Tazuna. Kakashi was taking up the rear, his book safely stashed away in his pocket due to the seriousness of the situation. As they continued moving, Naruto stopped and looked into a bush that rustled a bit. Naruto? Kakashi asked, looking at his student. Something wrong? No. Naruto shook his head and continued moving. They stayed moving again, with Naruto paying extra attention to their surroundings. As they continued walking, Naruto paused and threw a kunai into a bush, startling the other Jonin and Tazuna. What the hell, Naruto? Sakura hissed. Why do you have to try and scare us like huh? Naruto walked right past Sakura and moved the bush branches aside, only to see a small white rabbit shaking like a leaf with a kunai stuck right above its head. Naruto baka. Look what you did to this poor rabbit. Sakura finally yelled, grabbing the rabbit and attempting to soothe its rattled nerves. HN. Stop trying to act cool, Dobe. Sasuke commented, it only makes you look even more like an idiot. Shut up, team, Naruto said, not giving Sasuke the chance to respond. The blonde turned to look at Kakashi. Sensei, I could be wrong about this, but isn't a rabbit's fur supposed to be brown this time of year? We have the same type of hair in Konoha, and they have a brown coat this time of year. He should know, after all, he had skinned at least 30 of the critters. Yes it is, Kakashi said, his mind a whirlwind of activity. A white rabbit at this time of year means it was raised indoors. That could only mean that someone used it for a kawarimi. Both Naruto and Kakashi, who had been using chakra to enhance their senses, heard a whoosh. Get down / hit the dirt. The two shouted at the same time. Kakashi grabbed Sasuke and Tazuna, pulling them to the ground, while Naruto did the same with a shocked Sakura. Whoosh 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 thunk. The group looked up to see a large Zanbuta stuck in a tree with a man standing on top of it. Said man was shirtless, with 2 cameo-style armbands and pants. His face was half covered in bandages up to his nose and his headband was tilted slightly like Kakashi's, except not covering his eyes, holding up spiky black hair. The symbol of Kiri displayed on the headband with a slash mark running across the center. Well, if it isn't Hokage Kakashi, the man said, in rough-sounding voice. Kakashi stood up and glared at the man. Momoiki Zabuza, the Kiri no Oni. I never would have expected someone like you to be working for scum like Gato. Zabuza shrugged, it pays the bills. Besides, it's all worth it if I get to fight an opponent like you. You know, back when I was in Kiri, you were listed as an A-rank ninja with a kill on sight order in our bingo book. Hokage Kakashi, the man who copied over 1,000 jutsu. I had no idea that our sensei was so famous. Sakura thought. Now that the pleasantries are out of the way, why don't you hand over the old man and I'll let you and your Jonin squad go, Zabuza suggested. I'm sorry, but you know we can't do that. Kakashi glared at the missing ninja. It wouldn't look very good for Konoha if we just let you have him without even putting up a fight. Zabuza shrugged, don't say I didn't try diplomacy first. Grabbing onto the hilt of his blade, Zabuza kicked off the tree. He landed on the lake a little ways away, and made a hand sign. Let's see how well you can do Kakashi, Kirigakure no Jutsu, Hidden Mist Jutsu. A thick mist spread across the land, blanketing the already misted area so heavily that no one could see more than a few feet in front of them. Defensive Formation U3. Kakashi ordered his Jonan squad, causing them to surround Tazuna in a frontal triangle formation with Naruto as the point, Sasuke on the left and Sakura on the right. Zabuza is a master of the Muon Satsujin Jutsu, silent killing technique. If you're not careful you'll be dead before you even know it. Protect the bridge builder and leave Zabuza to me. Kakashi turned back towards the lake and began to lift up his headband. It looks like I'm going to need this. Ah. The Sharingan, Zabuza's voice came from within the mist, his outline form barely even visible. It's an honor to be facing it so soon. How did Kakashi-sensei get that? Sasuke thought in shock. Only members of the Uchiha clan, my clan, can possibly have the Sharingan. Could he? If Kakashi-sensei is using the Sharingan then this guy must be really strong. Naruto thought to himself, damn, I wish I had gone over that bingo book Anko gave me. At least then I would know a little bit more about this guy. Still we both know that the Sharingan is useless if you can't even see. The mist began to thicken even more, making Zabuza disappear completely. Damn it, this mist cuts down the Sharingan's effectiveness. Kakashi cursed, trying to peer into the mist. 8 points. Came the disembodied voice of Zabuza, causing the three Jonan and Tazuna to freeze as an intense killing intent filled the air. The liver, lungs, spine, clavicle vein, jugular artery, brain, kidney and the heart. Now, which one shall I choose first? Shit. Naruto cursed. This killing intent is unreal. Way more than anything Anko ever produced. And it makes it even worse with this mist. I can't see and I can barely think straight. The blonde began shaking a bit before catching a hold of himself. Got to remember what Anko taught to counteract the effects. Taking a deep breath, Naruto pushed out his chakra to counter the killing intense effects like Anko told him to do. He instantly felt a little better, though it was still affecting him some. This killing intent, Sasuke thought, struggling to breathe against the killing intent that two Jonin were producing. Is this what a high-level battle between two Jonin is like? This suffocating feeling. Sasuke began bringing a kunai to his throat. I don't think I can take much more of it. Sasuke. Calm down, Kakashi said as he noticed the trouble his Jonin were having. I won't let any of my comrades die on me. Sasuke seemed to calm himself down, lowering his kunai. You're all talk, Kakashi. Zabuza appeared right in the midst of the Jonin and Tazuna. Just as he was about to cleave them all with Kubikiri Hacho, however, Kakashi appeared right next to Zabuza and stabbed him in the gut, only for the Zabuza that he had stabbed to turn into water. Mizubanshine, water clone, Kakashi exclaimed right before Zabuza appeared behind him and cleaved him in half, causing Sakura to scream. However, much to Zabuza's surprise, Kakashi turned into water as well. It's over, Kakashi said as he appeared behind Zabuza and brought a kunai to the other ninja's throat. I see, Zabuza chuckled as he turned his head to look at the copy ninja. You created and switched yourself with a Mizubanshine when you made your speech, didn't you? That eye of yours is quite impressive. However, this battle is far from over. Zabuza swung his sword arm around, forcing Kakashi to duck under the powerful swing. Planting his sword into the ground, the Mist Ninja used the leverage it granted him to launch a powerful kick in Kakashi's face. Kakashi flew through the air with Zabuza following after him. The silver-haired Jonin threw some Makibishi spikes as he fell into the water, forcing Zabuza to stop. Makibishi spikes? Zabuza sneered beneath his mask. Come on, Kakashi, are you even trying? Kakashi broke the surface of the water and gasped for some air. There's something wrong with this water. Ha! Now I've got you. Zabuza appeared right next to Kakashi, going through a set of hand seals, Suten, Suru no Jutsu, Water Release, Water Prison Jutsu. Kakashi cursed as he found himself trapped within a water prison. He looked over at his students and began to make orders. Run. Take the bridge builder and go. Oh, they're not going anywhere, Kakashi, Zabuza chuckled as he made a Mizubanshine to deal with the Jonin. Get out of here, Kakashi yelled at his students. This battle was over the moment I got caught. He can't seriously think we can run, does he? Sasuke wondered. Even if we managed to escape now, he would just kill Kakashi and come after us. Sasuke ran towards the Mizubanshine in an attempt to surprise it. However, as soon as he got in range, the Zabuza clone kicked him in the ribs, sending the young raven-haired Jonin flying back. Sasuke-kun, Sakura yelled in shock and fear at seeing her crush hit so easily. Sasuke gasped out in pain as he landed on the ground and the air was forced from his lungs. He was about to get up when Zabuza appeared next to him and stepped on him, making the raven-haired Jonin scream in pain as the Kiryu-Nin began to grind his foot into Sasuke's ribs. "You kids think you're ninja?" Zabuza sneered at the pathetic sight of Sasuke under his foot and screaming in pain. "None of you are worthy of the title ninja. When you have stained your hands with as much blood as me, then you can be considered ninja. When you Uten, Rinku Udan." Zabuza's speech was cut off as a cannonball-sized ball of wind smashed into the Mizu Bunshine, forcing it to disperse back into water molecules. "You alright, Sasuke team?" Naruto asked as he ran over to his teammate and pulled the raven-haired Jonin up. "Yes," Sasuke said, only slightly put off that Naruto had just saved him. "Listen, I got a plan. When I tell you I want you to launch the biggest fireball you can," Naruto said, looking over at Zabuza. "So we're going to be working together now?" Sasuke asked with obvious sarcasm. "Just get ready to launch your fireball," Naruto said, ignoring the sarcasm in Sasuke's voice. "Oi! No brows, Oji-san. Are you done rambling now? What did you call me, you brat?" Zabuza seethed at the blonde who dared mock him. "You heard me, you eyebrow-less freak," Naruto shouted with a grin. It seemed Zabuza was sensitive about his lack of eyebrows. "You know, if you're sensitive about your lack of brow hair, I know someone who can help you with that. He's got more than enough eyebrow to spare. You little piece of shit. I'll kill you," Zabuza shouted as his face turned red. He created half a dozen Mizu Bushins. The Mizu Bunshine surged forward, running across the water. "Sasuke, I could use that fireball," Naruto yelled. Sasuke nodded as he went through some hand seals and sucked in a deep breath. "Kaden, Gukakyu no Jutsu." A large fireball came out of Sasuke's mouth. Before the Mizu Bunshine could jump out of the way, Naruto finished his own hand seals. "Uten, Databa." Sucking in his breath, Naruto blew out a large gust of wind that hit the fireball, turning it into a large firestorm. The Mizu Bunshine didn't stand a chance as the hailstorm of fire hit them, dispelling them and evaporating the water used. Zabuza cursed as he was forced to release the water prison and drop into the water as the massive firestorm washed over his position. "Did we get him?" asked Sasuke as he looked into the water. Naruto scoffed. "Don't be ridiculous, a Jonin of his caliber would take far more than that to defeat." "You're right about that, brat," Zabuza shouted as he jumped out of the water, charging over to the two Jonin. Before he could close the distance, Kakashi jumped in front of him. "Your fight is with me," Kakashi said, his sharing an eye glaring at the Kiryu-Nin. Zabuza glared at Kakashi before jumping back and placing his Zanbatsu on his back. "Fine by me. I'll just kill the brats after I kill you." He began going through several hand seals, moving faster than any of the Jonin could follow. However, Kakashi could see them, and was managing to copy hand seals that Zabuza was doing with relative ease. "Suten, Suryudan no Jutsu, Water Release, Water Dragon Jutsu." Both Kakashi and Zabuza shouted at the same time. Two large water dragons with glowing yellow eyes formed in front of the two shinobi, clashed against each other with a loud roar, cancelling each other out. Zabuza growled as he started doing more hand seals. As he did, however, he saw Kakashi begin doing his own hand seals. "What's this? It's like he can read my mind?" Kakashi finished, copying Zabuza's hand seals at the same time Zabuza himself was doing them. Zabuza snarled as he attempted to speed up his hand sealing. "I won't let some copycat monkey like you beat me." The two shouted at the same time. As they continued hand sealing, Zabuza stopped and stared as he found something behind Kakashi that shocked him. "Is that me?" As his own figure appeared behind Kakashi in a wavy apparition. "Suten, Daibakufu no Jutsu, Water Release, Great Water Vortex Jutsu," Kakashi shouted, sending a huge vortex of water at a shocked Zabuza. Zabuza was blasted through the air and only stopped when he hit a tree with enough force to the bark. Before anything else could happen, several kunai were launched at the Kiryu-Nin, hitting him in his arms, left leg and torso. Zabuza coughed up blood, staining his bandages as it leaked out of his mouth. A presence above him made him look up to see Kakashi crouched down on the tree branch with a kunai in his hand. "Can you see the future?" Zabuza asked, not quite sure why he had asked that, only that it seemed to fit with what he had seen. "Yes," Kakashi said, his mixed eyes staring at Zabuza, "and I see your death." Before Kakashi could finish Zabuza off, several senbon pierced the man's neck. Zabuza's eyes rolled up in the back of his head as he fell to the ground. "You were right," said a voice that came from Kakashi's left. Turning, he saw a young person whose gender was hard to tell due to the blue robes that covered his/her form. On the person's face was a mask that Kakashi recognized as a hunter ninja mask from Kiri. This was going to be his final battle. Kakashi grunted as he leapt off the branch and made his way over to Zabuza, checking the man's pulse. "He's dead," he mumbled, turning to look at the hunter ninja. "You're a hunter ninja from Kiri?" The hunter ninja bowed. "I am. I would like to thank you for stalling him for me. I have been after Momoiki Zabuza for a long time." Kakashi sighed as he brought his headband back down over his Sharingan. His Shinon squad came up behind him, looking at the hunter ninja curiously. The hunter ninja disappeared in a swirl of water, reappearing next to Zabuza's fallen body. Bending down, the hunter ninja picked up Zabuza, pulling the man's arm over his/her shoulder. "Now if you'll excuse me, this body has many secrets, so I need to go and destroy it." Naruto frowned as he watched the hunter ninja disappear in another swirl of water. "I get the feeling I'm missing something here. Kakashi-sensei." Turning around, Naruto saw Kakashi fall face first onto the ground, his one visible eye closed. Rushing over to him, Naruto placed a hand on his neck. "He's alive," Naruto said to Sakura, who had come up to them. "He's just unconscious. Signs indicate chakra exhaustion." Sighing, Naruto stood and brought his hands in the ram seal, Kage Bunshine no Jutsu. Two clones puffed into existence and lifted Kakashi by the arms and legs. "Tazuna-san, we need to get to your home now. Think you can lead us there?" asked Naruto. Yeah," Tazuna said as he tried to get his bearings. "It's just this way, follow me." "Sasuke, you take point," Naruto said. Sasuke looked at him for a moment before deciding to comply. Normally he wouldn't, but being point would allow him to prove his superiority, in his mind anyway. The three Konoha followed Tazuna as he led them to his house, with the two clones carrying the unconscious Jonin following close behind. Kirigakure no Jutsu, Hidden Mist Jutsu, AC rank supplementary jutsu. Normally used by Kirigakure, Hidden Mist Village, Ninja, this jutsu creates a thick fog by having the user saturate his/her chakra into the moisture in the air. Some of the more experienced practitioners of this jutsu can create a mist so thick that even dojutsu like the Sharingan and Byakugan can be fooled. Mizubunshin, Water Clone-C rank clone jutsu. The user infuses chakra into the water in order to create a clone in the user's likeness. Unlike regular clones, this one is not an illusion but a solid copy made from water. The clone is always created with 10% of the user's strength no matter how many are made. Unlike Kage Bunshines, this clone does not pass experience onto the user when dispelled. Suten, Suryudan no Jutsu, Water Release, Water Dragon Jutsu, an A-rank attack jutsu. The user creates a water dragon that will attack the enemy it is directed against. This jutsu is one of the few water attacks that are truly devastating, normally tearing through a person as if they were paper. The size and strength of the jutsu is relative to the control one has over water elemental manipulation and the amount of chakra they put into it. Suten, Suru no Jutsu, Water Release, Water Prison Jutsu, AB rank supplementary jutsu. This jutsu is used to capture opponents by placing them in a circular prison made of water. In order for this jutsu to be used, the one casting it must always have at least on part of their body in the water in order to continuously channel chakra into it. Suten, Daibakufu no Jutsu, Water Release, Great Water Vortex Jutsu, an A-rank attack jutsu. Creates a powerful vortex of water that can blast anything and everything in its path. This jutsu is extraordinarily destructive and can cause mass amounts of property damage and/or blunt force trauma to an opponent. After the battle, the group arrived at Tezuna's house. Said house was a decent-sized two-story house that was sitting on a dock just a little over the ocean. As the group walked up to the house, Tezuna banged on the door. "Tsunami. It's me, open up." The group could hear a quick shuffling of feet on the other side before the door opened, and a beautiful woman in her mid to late 20s with dark blue shoulder-length hair and brown eyes could be seen. She was wearing a pink sweater, and a blue skirt. "Tosan," the woman said in relief as she saw him. "Thank goodness you're all right." "Of course I'm all right," Tazuna said with a large relieved smile at seeing his daughter. "It's all thanks to these ninja here." Tsunami looked over Tazuna's shoulder to see the group with him. "Thank you very much," she said with a bow before she noticed the group of triplets carrying Kakashi, who was still completely out of it. "Oh my. Is he alright?" she asked. "He's fine," Naruto said, deciding to take charge for the moment. "He just has a bad case of chakra exhaustion. Speaking of, is there anywhere we can let him rest?" "Of course," Tsunami said as she opened the door the group to enter. "I will show you to the bedroom where you can put him." Naruto nodded as he and the other Jonin followed Tsunami up a set of stairs and into a hallway. She opened the first door on the left and let the Naruto clones in. Walking over to a closet in the room, she opened it and grabbed a bedspread that she set out on the floor. "Here you are," she said. "Thank you," the clone in the front replied as they set Kakashi down. With their job done, the two clones dispelled surprising Tsunami, who looked at the smoke where the clones had been in surprise. "What the? Cage buttshine," Naruto answered as he leaned against the wall next to window, making the woman turn to him. "They're just solid copies of myself." Figuring it was some kind of ninja thing, she nodded her head as Sakura sat down next to their sensei. "Are you going to be alright, sensei?" she asked. "Yeah," Kakashi said in a somewhat strained voice, having woken up sometime in the past few minutes. "I just won't be able to move for a week or so." "What?" Sakura said in surprise. "It's because of the Sharingan," Naruto said as the others looked over at him. "It's an amazing bloodline, but because Kakashi-sensei isn't an Uchiha, it puts a great deal of stress on his body, since it's not built to harness the Kekkei Genkai's full potential." Sakura and especially Sasuke looked surprised by Naruto's knowledge. Sakura looked from her blonde spiky-haired teammate to her sensei. "The Sharingan sounds like an amazing bloodline. But if it puts that much stress on the body, I guess you have to think before using it." "Dobi," Sasuke said, getting the blonde's attention. "How do you know so much about the Sharingan?" Naruto looked over at Sasuke and shrugged. "I've been reading a lot lately." Naturally, reading about Konoha's most famous clans was one of my subjects. While there is little about how the Sharingan works, I know the basics. Like how the eyes are able to see through and copy any ninjutsu, genjutsu, or taijutsu and be able to turn any technique back on the original user. Aside from that, Kekkei Genkai come from specific families, or clans. If someone who is not a member from a clan gets a bloodline such as the Sharingan implanted in them, it simply can't be used properly. I'm guessing that's why Kakashi-sensei has to keep his eye covered, right sensei? Kakashi tried nodding, but when he found it impossible just spoke. "That's right, Naruto. I'm pleased to see you're studying so hard." He. Naruto gave an embarrassed laugh as he rubbed the back of his head in a sheepish manner. The group was silent for a little while after that, thinking about all that had happened and what their next move should be. "Well, at least we defeated that strong ninja this time," Tazuna said with a relieved laugh. "So we should be safe for now." "By the way, who was that masked kid?" asked Sakura. She had remembered reading something about ninja who wore those masks before. "That's the mask worn by Karagakura's special hunter ninja team," Kakashi answered. "They are also known as body erasers. Their duty is to completely dispose of a body without a trace. A ninja's body within it has many secrets that can be revealed with a proper examination of a medical ninja. Things like ninjutsu, different chakra types, herbs and many other secrets that will reveal things about the village. For example, if I died, the secrets of the Sharingan could be revealed. If you're not careful, there's the danger that the enemy will steal your jutsu." Naruto nodded to himself. He had recently read about the hunter ninja forces. Konoha had its own force of hunter ninjas, designed to hunt down missing ninja and kill them before they could become a problem. That's why the hunter ninja are around. The rest of the group turned towards Naruto. In order to protect the secrets of their village, hunter ninja have the jobs of going into the world and hunting down the missing ninja of their village. They're specialists who guard their village's secrets. "So that Zabuza has been chopped up and disposed of?" Sakura asked with a pale complexion as she spoke. "Scary." Naruto shook his head. "I'm not so sure." "What do you mean?" asked Sakura as she looked over at Naruto. "What are you not sure about?" Naruto frowned as he remembered what he had read about hunters. When a hunter ninja disposes of a body, it's supposed to be on the spot. That way no one has a chance to discover the secrets they might hold before they can get rid of it. They usually cut off the head and then burn the body with a katen jutsu. However, his mind went back to their encounter with the hunter ninja. However, that ninja didn't do that. Instead, he left with the body in tow. On top of that, he used senbon to kill the target. Having spent as much time as he had with Tenten, Naruto knew a lot about ranged weaponry. After all, when someone is throwing weapons at you and has a huge fetish for said weapons, one tends to learn more than they initially bargained for, and it didn't look like he was carrying any kind of heavy equipment that could decapitate a person. It seems odd that a hunter ninja would be so ill-equipped to deal with the disposing of a body. "You're absolutely right, Naruto," Kakashi said, sounding proud that his Jonan had been able to figure all of that out. "I've been wondering about that myself. And I have a theory. Within the forest just a little ways from where Zabuza had fought the Konoha ninja, the hunter ninja looked over Zabuza's body. Reaching into a pouch, the hunter took out a toolkit and unrolled it on the ground. The ninja grabbed a pair of clippers and brought them towards Zabuza. First I'll cut off the mouth cloth and drain some of the blood." The ninja mumbled, carefully bringing the clippers to bear near Zabuza's clothed face. Just before the hunter could cut the cloth, Zabuza's hand shot up and grabbed the hunter's arm. "That's all right, I'll do it myself," Zabuza said in a slightly gasped breath. "Oh," the hunter said, sounding both surprised and amused. "You've already come back to life." Zabuza grunted as he grabbed the senbone in his neck and gave them a yank. "Damn, you sure are rough," he grunted as he pulled them out. "Oh. You're pretty rough yourself, pulling them out like that. You may really die if you pull them out so carelessly," the hunter said. Zabuza just gave a non-committal grunt. "How long are you going to wear that stupid mask?" he asked. "I like this mask," the fake hunter replied, "it reminds me of the old days." Despite that, the fake hunter reached up and pulled the mask off, plus it was useful for this act. "If I hadn't saved you, you would have definitely been killed." Zabuza glared at his partner, and decided to let the fake hunter know just what he thought of the hunter's selection of pressure points. "If you were going to put me into a temporary death, you didn't have to aim for the neck, you know. You could have used a safer acupuncture point." The Kiri-missing ninja put the cloth back around his mouth. "You're brutal as always." His partner merely smiled. "You're right. But we both know how you would get angry if I scarred that flawless body of yours. And the neck doesn't have much muscle, it's easier to hit the acupuncture point there." The fake hunter examined Zabuza's vitals to see how much damage was done to him that both the fight and the temporary death state had given him. The man had a lot more wounds than usual due to who he was fighting, but the hunter determined he would live. "You shouldn't be able to move much for about a week. But not knowing you, you'll probably be up and about sooner." Zabuza at his partner out of the corner of his eye and smirked. "You're so pure and clever, that's what I like about you." Of course, his partner smiled, "I'm just a kid after all." The fake hunter ninja stood up and looked around. "The mist has cleared." Looking down, the fake hunter ninja asked a question. "Will you be alright next time?" Zabuza's eyes narrowed and let out something akin growl. "Next time I will defeat the Sharingan." "What do you mean Zabuza's alive?" Sakura screeched, causing everyone to hold their ears and the windows to rattle. "Keep your voice down, Sakura," Kakashi said before clearing his throat. "Think about it, the hunter ninja used senbone to kill Zabuza. But unless it hits a vital organ, the probability of actually killing someone is low. It's an item used by doctors in acupuncture. Hunter ninja have a thorough knowledge and understanding of the human body. So putting a person in a momentary death-like state would be easy. Let's look at the facts. First, he carried away the body of the much heavier Zabuza. Second, he used a weapon that has a low probability of killing. So basically what you're saying is that Zabuza is alive, Sasuke stated, though it almost sounded like a question. Kakashi nodded. "Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying." The announcement that Zabuza was alive seemed to have varying levels of effect on those in the room. Sasuke was smirking, thinking he would get another chance to fight a strong opponent and prove himself as a Uchiha, as well as brining himself one step closer to Itachi. Sakura looked around in worry, not feeling anywhere near as confident as her crush. She knew that she had no chance of helping in a fight like this. Naruto was surprisingly deep in thought, replaying what he had witnessed in Kakashi's battle with Zabuza. He knew that he had no chance against a man who could go toe-to-toe with his sensei. What's more, Kakashi had almost been defeated, and were it not for the timely intervention of him and Sasuke, Zabuza underestimating them in a shitload of luck, they would have definitely lost. "Don't you think you're overthinking this?" asked Tazuna, now worried that really strong ninja might actually be coming back. "I mean, hunter ninja are supposed to kill missing ninja. One of the shinobi rules is to always prepare for the worst possible scenario," Kakashi stated. "And even if Zabuza is dead, it just means that Gato is likely to hire an even stronger ninja. Either case point to the fact that we need to prepare." "But what can we do?" asked Sakura, frightened of even the thought of seeing Zabuza again. This whole mission had gone from bad to worse for her, and she was starting to feel completely overwhelmed. "I mean, we're just Jinan, and you can barely even move." Hee hee, Kakashi chuckled as if he somehow found this whole situation funny. "You guys will be doing some training." "Huh? Training?" Sakura said in surprise. "Sensei, what's a little training gonna do? Our enemy is someone you struggled against, even with the Sharingan." "Cha. He's trying to get us killed." Inner Sakura shouted. "Sakura. Who saved me while I was trapped in that water prison?" Kakashi asked in a slow tone. The question was rhetorical, but it was obvious was point he was trying to get across. "You guys have all improved a great deal." The Cyclopean Jonin looked over at Naruto and gave him an eye smile. "Naruto, you've improved the most." Naruto blushed in embarrassment as he rubbed the back of his head. Well, I have a lot of people who've helped me. Everyone looked over at him, wondering who was helping him. He does seem to be a lot better. Sakura thought begrudgingly. And smarter. The way he was talking, it's almost like he's a completely different person. Of course, Sakura was still convinced that Naruto was an idiot who was simply trying to act smart in order to make her Sasuke-kun look bad. I can't believe that Dobi managed to do so well, thought a miffed Sasuke, recognizing that what Kakashi said was true. He must be getting some kind of help, otherwise there would be no way that Dobi could have gotten this good. Who is it though? And why does he have someone teaching him privately, while an Uchiha does not? Obviously this is just training for you guys to get better, Kakashi continued, unaware of the thoughts two of his Jonin were having. Even if I train you, you won't be able to best Zabuza without me. But sensei, if Zabuza is alive he could attack at any time. Sakura protested. So should we be training? Don't worry, Kakashi assured her. You have to remember Zabuza was injured too, more so than I was. On top of that, he was put into a death-like state. His body will take a while to recover from something like that. So we'll train until then. Finally, Naruto said, breaking out into a grin. I didn't think you were ever gonna train us, sensei. Naruto, I have trained you guys. Kakashi defended himself. Yeah, in teamwork exercises, and even then you continue reading that porn of yours. Naruto shot back. I'm talking about training to up our individual skills. Teamwork is important, Kakashi said with a small shrug. I don't deny that teamwork is important, sensei. Naruto resisted the urge to roll his eyes. However, we both know that individual ability is just as important. If we can't even fight properly on our own merits, it won't matter if our teamwork is flawless. And you know that had Zabuza not underestimated us because we were kids, Sasuke and I would have been killed before we even had time to blink. Kakashi conceded that point with a nod. Naruto was right, individual skills were important. However, the silver-haired Jonin had wanted to pound the idea that teamwork was the most important aspect of a shinobi. Why do you guys even bother? Everyone turned to the source of the new voice to see a depressed-looking little kid of about 6 to 8 years of age. He had blue coveralls on over a yellow shirt and a fishing hat on his head. Oh. Inari. Where were you? Dazuna asked in greeting, holding out his arms as Inari ran to give him a hug. Welcome back, Grandpa, Inari said, before glaring over at the Konoha ninja. Inari, say hello to these people, Tsunami said, placing her hands on her hips. They're the ninja that protected Grandpa. But Mom, they're just going to die? Everyone looked surprised and angry when Inari said that. Dazuna and Tsunami just sighed. There's no way they can beat Gato. Man, this kid's more emo than you or Sasuke team, Naruto commented, grinning when he received an angry grunt from his Uchiha teammate. Listen here, kid, there is no way some idiotic, rich, midget bastard is going to be killing us. When Gato tries to get your grandpa here, I'm going to beat his ass back to the age of the Rikadu Sennin. There Naruto goes again. Kakashi sweat dropped at his blonde student's shift in attitude. Genius one moment, loudmouth the next. It's almost like he is some kind of two people inhabiting that body or something. PFT, Inari huffed. You must be some kind of idiot, thinking you can go against Gato. Inari turned around and made his way to the door. If you don't want to die you should leave. Inari, where are you going? Asked Tsunami in a worried voice. I'm going to look at the ocean, Inari said before leaving, slamming the door shut on his way out. I'm sorry about that, Tazuna said in a depressed voice as he looked over at the Konoha ninja. Whatever, that kid needs to get his shit together, Naruto commented. Seriously, anyone who broods more than Sasuke team the emo king of brood over here has a serious problem. Shut up, Naruto baka, Sakura yelled as she attempted to hit him. Naruto sighed as he caught the pink-haired girl's fist. How long would it take for her to get he was not going to allow her to hit him anymore? Seriously, Sakura, haven't I asked you to stop hitting me like 200 times already? I'm not going to let you hit me anymore, I'm not your personal punching bag. Naruto let go of Sakura's fist, seeing as how she was too shocked to do anything. I swear she never changes, even after this has happened Kami only knows how many times. In the past month his crush had been getting less and less appealing. Naruto did not really know why he no longer really cared for Sakura, except that the more time he spent with her and the more time he spent with her and Sasuke the less he seemed to like her. Of course, it could have been her abusive personality and the fact that she always hit Naruto, but he had been dealing with that for years. He assumed that it was because he was spending time with girls that seemed to actually enjoy being with him. Tenten and Anko actually took time out of their days to talk to him. Oftentimes when he was done training with either one of them they would stay out a little longer and just talk. Sometimes they would even go out to get something to eat even though that consisted mostly of ichirakus. The blonde shook his head and banished the thoughts. Anyway, I think I'll be going to get some rest. In that case, there are a few extra rooms for you on the right if you want to take one of them, Tsunami said helpfully. Naruto gave her a smile. Thanks. He left Kakashi's room, moving to one of the ones Tsunami had said was open. As he passed by Inari's room he heard crying. Curious, he stopped and channeled some chakra to his ear. Tosan. Naruto frowned when he heard Inari's sob whispers. Sighing, he began walking to one of the open rooms again. The next day Naruto, Sakura and Sasuke followed Kakashi, who was using crutches, outside to begin their training. As they stood in the clearing, Kakashi turned around to look at the three. Okay, we will now begin our training, he informed them. About damn time, sensei. Naruto grinned, masking his excitement. I've been waiting for you to get your sorry ass into gear. Ma, no need for such language, Naruto, Kakashi said with a sweat drop. I think Hanko's really being a bad influence on him. Now, before we begin training I want to talk to you about chakra, Kakashi continued on with his lesson. Why even bother asking us that? Naruto asked. We already know about chakra. Well, since you seem to know it so well, how about you explain what chakra is? Kakashi suggested. It's the energy we use to create jutsu, Naruto said in an uncaring manner. And? Prompted Kakashi, trying to get more out of the blonde. And nope, that's it, Naruto said with an indifferent shrug. Kakashi's sweat dropped again. Definitely a bad influence. Right, well, I suppose we should just get to training. Kakashi decided it would just be best to get started. So what are we going to do? Asked Naruto. Kakashi gave all of them an eye smile. You are going to be learning tree climbing. Sasuke and Sakura face-faulted, meanwhile Naruto resisted the urge to sigh. How is climbing a tree supposed to help us get stronger? Sasuke asked with his perpetual scowl in place. So he doesn't know tree climbing yet? Naruto thought with a smirk. This should be fun to watch. I'm glad you asked, Sasuke. Kakashi smiled at his raven-haired student. Aside from the simple fact that you'll be able to fight on a vertical surface, tree climbing also helps in your chakra control. Kakashi crouched his way over to one of the trees in the clearing. Bringing up a hand sign for focus, he channeled chakra to the bottom of his feet. He put one foot on the tree trunk, then his other foot. Soon enough he was walking up the tree, seemingly defying gravity. He stopped when he climbed onto a branch and hung upside down. Looking down he saw Sakura and Sasuke looking shocked, while Naruto looked bored. Could he already know this exercise? Kakashi asked as he stared at Naruto. The feet are considered to be the hardest place to channel chakra to. Therefore if you can master tree climbing, you can master any jutsu, theoretically at least, Kakashi explained. Hey sensei, I already know this exercise, Naruto informed them, causing Sasuke's eyes to narrow and Sakura's to widen. I see. Well then why don't you show me? Kakashi gestured to a tree on his left. Naruto shrugged as he walked up to the tree, subconsciously channeling chakra to his feet as he began to defy gravity and climb up. He continued walking until he was a little higher than Kakashi and then like him hung upside down on a branch. Naruto looked over to Kakashi and gave him a cheeky grin. See? You may now bask in the greatness that is Uzumaki, Naruto. Well, it looks like you've got a head start on chakra control. Kakashi figured this must have been one of the many things that Anko decided to teach him. Very well, since you seem to be so good at it, you can teach it to your teammates. What? Sakura and even Sasuke yelled. Naruto narrowed his eyes at how his sensei was trying to dump his work on him. Or how about I leave a cage bunshine with them and you help me with something I've been working on? Kakashi actually looked surprised at the suggestion. However, he thought about it for a second before nodding. With his chakra nearly depleted he could not do much more than what he was doing now, but he may be able to give his students some advice. Very well, I don't see a problem with that. Though I need to see what you're working on in order to help you. Nodding his head, Naruto released the chakra from his feet and flipped over in air, landing on his feet in a crouch. That's fine sensei. Kage Bunshine no Jutsu. Two clones appeared beside Naruto before bringing themselves over to each of his teammates. These clones of Naruto's will help you learn this exercise, Kakashi said as he threw two kunai at the two Jonin's feet. Use those kunai to mark your progress. I suggest you start by running. Nodding to himself he walked back down to the ground as well. So why don't you show me what you're working on? He suggested as he looked at his blonde student. Naruto nodded. Alright, But we should probably go somewhere else, that way we won't be a distraction to the other two. Naruto didn't wait for an answer before he started walking. After a few seconds Kakashi shrugged, pulling out his book and hobbling along after the blonde. Sasuke watched Naruto go with a seething expression. How can the Dobi be so much better than me? I've always been the best, an elite member of the Uchiha clan. Yet Naruto knows something I don't. Sasuke looked over at a tree and glared at it, as if hoping it would spontaneously combust. I won't let the Dobi beat me. Picking up a kunai, Sasuke ran at the nearest tree. When Naruto was sure that he and his sensei were far enough away that the noise he made would not reach his teammates, he turned to his sensei. There are actually two things I want to work on. The first is I want to start working on my wind manipulation training. You're already training in elemental manipulation? Kakashi's one eye widened in surprise. He had not realized that Naruto was working on something so advanced. You do know that's a Jonin level exercise, right? Naruto nodded. I know, but I already have several jutsu in my repertoire. I don't think I need any more, rather, I want to be able to use the jutsu I do know more efficiently. That would make sense. Kakashi nodded his head. This kid is so weird, one minute he's acting like Minato-sensei and the next he's reminding me of Kushina-san. And you say you're a wind user? He asked. Yes, Naruto took out a piece of chakra paper and made it split with his chakra to emphasize his point. I actually wasn't planning on training in this until I got back home. I was told that Sarutobi Asuma is also a wind user and I was going to ask him for some advice. But if we're going to fight Zabuza and that hunter ninja, I want some kind edge over them. Well, I don't know how far you'll be able to get. Kakashi looked thoughtful, knowing the boy would be able to get a decent start on his elemental training due to his cage bunshines, but he would not likely be able to complete it. Chances are Zabuza will be back in action within a week. But it certainly can't hurt. Kakashi paused for a minute before continuing. Now, I'm not a wind user so I can't actually give you any tips. Thankfully my sensei was, and I got to see him training in his element on occasion. Bending down on the ground Kakashi picked up one of the fallen leaves and twirled it in front of him. Your first step is to slice a leaf in half using wind chakra. That doesn't seem too hard, though I'm guessing it's a lot harder than it sounds since it's considered a Jonin level training exercise, Naruto mumbled to himself. Kakashi nodded. Elemental training is a Jonin level skill. Most shinobi and kunoikis don't even think of starting this until they've been a chunin for at least a year or two. Got it, Naruto said. He paused and looked at his sensei for a moment before speaking. I was also wondering if you could show me the hand seals for the Shunshine, body flicker. Shunshine, eh? Kakashi said, once again surprised. A Shunshine was only a chunin level jutsu, but once again it was a jutsu that people didn't bother with until they at least reached chunin. Yeah, I suppose I can show you the hand seals. Kakashi spoke. After all, it wouldn't hurt any and Naruto may even learn it from just that. If he's anything like his parents he'll have the jutsu down before the week's end, possibly sooner. The Shunshine is simply the ram seal, much like your cage bunshine no jutsu, Kakashi explained, however unlike the cage bunshines where you imagine multiple clones of yourself. For this you must picture yourself moving at very high speeds. I find it helps if you visualize where you want to be when you use it. Naruto nodded, thanks Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi gave Naruto a nice smile, no problem Naruto. Now then, I'm going to go check on your teammates, Kakashi said as he hobbled back towards the clearing his two teammates were still in. He's probably just going to read his porn, Naruto thought with a sigh before perking up. Well whatever, I've got work to do. Brining up his hands in the ram seal, Naruto began channeling mass amounts of chakra. Tajuu Kage Bunshine no Jutsu, Mass Multiple Shadow Clone Jutsu. Back in the clearing Sasuke's feet hit the bark of the tree. He channeled chakra into his feet and began to run up. 1 step, 2 steps, 4, 8, 10, 15. He felt the bark blast off of the tree, forcing him to mark his spot before he fell. Sasuke flipped back down and looked at his progress. 15 steps. Damn it. Why is this so hard? You're using too much chakra. Sasuke turned around and glared at the clone. What? He asked in a scathing voice. The clone sighed. He seriously could not understand how the boss dealt with this shit every day. You use too much chakra, that's why the bark exploded. If you use too much, it pushes you off, too little and you slip off. Hey Sasuke-kun. Look up here. Their conversation was cut off as they both turned to the female voice, to see Sakura sitting on top of the first tree branch on her tree. Well it looks like she's got good control, Naruto mused. Sasuke looked at Sakura with a glare. which did not go unnoticed by the pinkette. "Oh no! Sasuke-kun looks mad, and I thought he would be impressed. What am I going to do?" "Sasuke team, stop glaring at Sakura and get back to work or you'll never be able to get this exercise down," the Naruto clone spoke in an annoyed voice, making the raven-haired Jonin turn his glare on him. "Hey, don't talk to Sasuke-kun like that," Sakura shouted, defending her crush despite said crush giving her a scathing glare that looked like he was trying to burn a hole through her. "Sakura!" The clone who was helping Sakura shouted. "I know you want to be the center of Sasuke's attention, but I need you to focus on your training." Sakura blinked in surprise. Naruto's clone was not acting anything like him. Well, not acting like his idiotic self, she corrected, remembering the way he had been talking recently. They were more like he was when talking about something he was knowledgeable in, something that was still taking some getting used to. "But I already did the training," Sakura said with a scowl. Acting smarter or not, there was no way she was going to let Naruto, or his clones, talk to her like that. "You saw me, I can already climb the tree." "Really?" the clone asked with a raised eyebrow. "So if I asked you to walk all the way to the top and back down you could do it?" "Well..." Sakura hesitated. Running up to this branch had tired her out as it was, she was not sure if she could actually walk to the top. "Exactly," Naruto said as he saw her hesitation to answer. "You may have been able to get up there, but that's only because you have such good control of your chakra. However, this also means that there is something else you are lacking." Sakura frowned, not liking how Naruto seemed to be insulting her. "Are you insulting me?" she asked in a threatening tone. "For the love of Kemi." Naruto's clone nearly facepalmed. "No Sakura, I'm not insulting you. Like Sasuke, you have both good qualities and areas where you are simply lacking. Only your situation is reversed." Sakura gave him a confused look. "What do you mean?" "You have perfect chakra control, this is because your chakra reserves are so small," Naruto said with a shrug. "It's not all that surprising, since you come from a civilian family, larger reserves are not in your genetics like it would be if you were an Uchiha. Sasuke on the other hand has larger than average reserves, which equates to a lack of control." "I don't think I'm ever going to get used to Naruto actually sounding smart," Sakura thought as she listened. "So then what am I supposed to do?" she asked. "We need to get your chakra reserves up," Naruto said as if the answer was obvious. "The only way to do that is to work on chakra control exercises, but go for endurance, rather than simply learning the exercise. Now, I have a friend who helped me when I learned tree climbing. She said that you haven't mastered tree climbing until you can fight on a vertical surface for 1 hour like you are fighting on a horizontal surface," Naruto said in quote. Sakura gulped a bit, causing Naruto to smile. "Don't worry, we're not going to be doing that yet. Right now you don't have the reserves for it. What I want you to do is to start running up and down the surface of the tree. I want you to do this until you're exhausted. You can take a small break when you tire out, but once you're rested, you're going to start over again." Sakura paled a bit at what Naruto was suggesting to her. Seeing this, Naruto decided to add some incentive. If you prove that you can be useful to Sasuke, he may pay more attention to you. That seemed to do the trick as Sakura started running up the tree. As Sasuke glared at him, the Naruto clone sighed. "You know glaring at me won't help you with your tree climbing. I suggest you use a little less chakra than before." "I don't need your help, Dobi," Sasuke said. He turned back to the tree and began running up it, albeit he used less chakra. For a while it seemed to be going fine until he slipped. He marked his progress and jumped back down. Looking up, he glared at his mark. It was only 5 steps above the first one. "Damn it! Sakura got this in one try. I'm an Uchiha and I haven't even gotten half as far as she has." Sasuke thought as he glared at the tree. "You need to relax, Sasuke," Naruto's voice came from behind him. When Sasuke once again turned his glare on him, Naruto sighed. "Look, I'm trying to help you. I said I don't need your help." Sasuke shot back. "I'm an Uchiha, this is no problem for me." "That's not what it seems like from where I'm standing." Naruto shot back. "I said I don't need your help, Tobi." Sasuke grit his teeth. Naruto looked at Sasuke for a moment before he shrugged. "Fine, I'll just be sitting over at that tree, watching as you continue making a fool of yourself, team." Sasuke narrowed his eyes as the Naruto clone sat down and leaned back against a tree. He turned back to the tree he was working on. He would complete this exercise without the Dobi's help. He was an Uchiha. As Sasuke continued working, none of them noticed the small figure who was staring at them as it left. Within their base, the hunter ninja watched over the bedridden Zabuza, mixing some of the herbs they had. "So even you have come back defeated?" The hunter ninja turned his head to see Gato standing in between 2 thugs. One of them was shirtless with a black hakama, and an eye patch on his right eye. His left shoulder was adorned with a vine tattoo pattern while he had barbed wire tattoos running down his arms. The other was wearing a baggy gray jacket festooned with many pockets, a pair of black shorts and a black beanie on his head. Both of them had a hand holding the sheaths of their swords, trying to make themselves look menacing. Zabuza's partner thought the pair looked pathetic with their posturing. "It looks like the Kiri ninja are pretty pathetic," Gato continued as he moved into the room, feeling confident now that Zabuza was bedridden. "You can't even avenge your men, how pathetic. And you call yourself a devil?" Zabuza said nothing, causing both of Gato's Ronin to start unsheathing their blades. "Hold on for a moment." Gato held up a hand as he continued walking up to Zabuza. He stopped at the bed and looked down at the Kiri missing ninja. "Hey! There's no need to stay silent." Gato began to reach out his hand towards Zabuza's throat, but before it could get there the hunter ninja grabbed onto the businessman's wrist. "Don't touch Zabuza-sama with your filthy hands." The hunter ninja snarled, giving him a glare that looked like it would burn straight through the fat businessman. "Hey, let go. Let go, you fucking argh, Gato shouted, only to scream as the hunter ninja snapped his arm, then tossed him back. The two Ronin moved their hands towards their swords. However, their eyes widened when they found the hunter ninja between them, holding their own swords against their throats. "You shouldn't do that," the hunter ninja said. "I'm really pissed off right now." Gato and both his cronies began to sweat. "One more chance," Gato shouted as he stood up and shook his unbroken hand in a fist. "I'm giving you one more chance to complete this. If you fail, I'll make sure that every ninja in Kiri knows where you are." Gato and his two thugs left, slamming the door on their way out. "Haku," Zabuza said, getting his partner's attention. "You didn't have to do that." "I know," Haku said with a smile, spotting the protrusion in the sheets that showed Zabuza was holding a kunai. "But it's still too early to kill Gato. If we cause a commotion right now, the hunters will be after us again. We must be patient," Zabuza sighed. "Damn, I hate it when you're right." "Right about what?" Hearing the voice, Haku and Zabuza looked over as the door opened to see the Akuma brothers walking in. Later that night the Konoha ninja were sitting at the dinner table with Tazuna and his family. Naruto and Sasuke were shoveling food down their throats, Sakura had her head on the table and looked like she was going to pass out. And Kakashi was, much to the displeasure of Tsunami, reading his porn. "So Sasuke, Sakura, how's training going?" Kakashi asked as he flipped a page of his book. He would have left since he finished eating almost as soon as the food had been set in front of him, having eaten so fast no one could even see him take off his mask, but it would be rude to leave while the others were eating. "HN." Sasuke grunted, somehow still able to make that sound despite his mouth being full of food. "Naruto's a slave driver." Sakura groaned, not even bothering to lift her head up. Out of all the Jinnachi it had it the hardest, since she did not have the stamina of the others. "Really?" Kakashi asked, turning to look at Naruto who was on his fourth serving of rice. "So how was your training, Naruto?" Naruto stopped shoving food down his gullet and swallowed what he already had in his mouth before answering, "Well, I'm making some progress, but it's slow going." Naruto frowned as he thought of his training. "I'm doing better at learning the Shunshin than elemental manipulation, however." "What? He's learning the Shunshin?" Sasuke questioned in his mind, just adding another reason to be mad at Naruto. "That's natural," Kakashi said. "After all, elemental manipulation is a Jonin-level training technique. Naruto's going through Jonin-level training." Sakura wondered in shock. Sasuke seethed even more at hearing that the Dobi was learning something that a Jonin normally learned. Standing up he stomped out of the house, slamming the door closed behind him. "I should have seen this coming." Kakashi sighed. "I probably shouldn't talk about Naruto getting stronger in front of Sasuke. I wonder what crawled up his ass and died." Naruto looked over at the door Sasuke had stormed out of before shrugging. "Though, I'm surprised it could with that 20-foot pole he's already got sticking in there." "Naruto baka. Don't make fun of Sasuke-kun like that," Sakura shouted, standing up and rearing her fist back to hit the blonde. Naruto just looked at her. "Do you want me to double the amount of training you're going to be doing tomorrow?" Sakura's mouth snapped shut as she sat back down, not wanting to even go through the training the blonde had placed on her again, much less have it doubled. "That's what I thought." Naruto nodded his head and turned back to his food. "Actually, Naruto," Kakashi started. "Since you seem to be much farther than your teammates, I was hoping you could go with Tazuna-san tomorrow." Naruto blinked for a few seconds before shrugging. "Sure thing, sensei. It would just mean he had to wake up earlier and get his cage Bunshine working." He looked over at Tazuna and gave the man a reassuring grin. "Well, it looks like you'll be saddled with the best protection we've got, old man." I won't be letting any of Gado's thugs near you. I'm sure. Tazuna chuckled at the boy's cocksure attitude. After having seen Naruto come up with that plan to help his sensei, he no longer doubted the blonde shinobi. Everyone continued eating for a little while longer, until Sakura noticed something about the picture hanging on the wall behind Tazuna. "Hey Tazuna-san, what's with that picture on the wall over there?" she asked, pointing to the picture of Tazuna and his family. "It looks like a piece is missing." The three family members tensed at the mention of the picture. An air of sorrow seemed to fill the air. "My husband," Tsunami said after several minutes of tense silence, her voice sounding a little choked up. "The man they called the hero of Nami," Tazuna added in a solemn tone. Inari abruptly stood up after hearing that and ran up the stairs. "Inari," Tsunami said in a worried tone. The woman turned on her dad with an angry expression. "Father, you know you can't talk about that man in front of Inari." "What's wrong with Inari?" asked Sakura, feeling depressed for causing such obvious pain to someone else. "Inari. He lost someone he loved, didn't he?" asked Naruto, surprising the others at the soft tone of his voice. "That man. Your husband was important to him, right? There seems to be some kind of story behind this." Kakashi added. "Care to share?" Tazuna sighed as he began to tell his tale. Inari had a friend that he was real close to, a man who was a father in all but blood. They were very close, like a real father and son. Inari was always laughing and smiling back then. Tazuna paused as he clenched his hands. But Inari changed, since that incident with his father. The word courage has been stolen from the people of this land. And from Inari, ever since that day. Because of that incident. "That incident?" asked Kakashi. "What happened?" "Before I get to that, I first need to tell you about the man who was called the hero of Nami," Tazuna said. "Hero?" asked Naruto, getting interested hearing more about someone who had done something amazing enough to be called a hero. "It was about 3 years ago that Inari met that man," Tazuna said. "Some bullies were picking on him, trying to steal the dog that Tsunami and I had gotten for him. After arguing, they threw the dog into the lake, and then they pushed Inari into the lake as well." "That's horrible," gasped Sakura. "No more horrible than smashing your fist into someone's head for no reason," Naruto mumbled loud enough for only himself and Kakashi to hear. Tazuna ran a hand through his hair as he gave a sigh, and it was worse because Inari couldn't swim. However, right then as Inari was drowning, the pooch remembered he could dog paddle. Inari almost drowned that day, however, a wandering fisherman managed to save him. His name was Keiza. He was a fisherman who came here to follow his dreams. After that, Keiza and Inari became very close. It may have been because Inari's real father had died before he could get to know him, but he and Keiza were inseparable, like a father and son. It was only a matter of time before Keiza became a part of the family. And Keiza was also a man the city needed. There was one time that the dam was overrun with water, and was going to flood the city. Keiza swam out to the dam by himself and closed it. Keiza was called the hero of this city. And Inari could not have been prouder. Tazuna paused in his story as his face took a darker tone. "But then Gado came to this city. Gado killed Keiza, didn't he?" Naruto said, causing the others to look over at him in surprise. Tazuna nodded, "Yes, only it was much worse than that. Gado had Keiza executed in front of everyone, including Inari." Gasps were heard from Naruto and Sakura, both surprised and appalled that Gado could do that. Kakashi just looked down. He already knew of the hardships of the world, and he knew things like this happen more often than others would like to admit. From that day Inari changed. He stopped believing in heroes that day. The day the whole city lost hope. Tazuna trailed off. For a moment the Konoha ninja were silent as they digested what they had heard. It was definitely a sad story, hearing that a child saw his father figure murdered in front of him. Naruto stood up and began making his way towards the door. "Where are you going, Naruto?" asked Sakura. "If you're thinking of training, take the day off," Kakashi said. "If you use up too much chakra you could die." "Don't worry, sensei, I'm just going to have my Kage Bunshin do some work while I sleep," Naruto reassured his sensei. Kakashi nodded while Sakura and the others looked confused. "But I need to get some training in, otherwise I won't be able to prove to Inari that heroes still do exist." Shanshin. This jutsu is a high-speed movement technique, allowing a ninja to move short to long distances at an almost untraceable speed. 2. To an observer, it appears as if the user has teleported. A puff of smoke is occasionally used to disguise the user's movements. It is accomplished by using chakra to temporarily vitalize the body and move at extreme speeds. The amount of chakra required depends on the overall distance and elevation between the user and the intended destination. Shisui Uchiha was feared as Shisui of the body flicker, Shanshin no Shisui, likely referring to this technique. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.